All right. So welcome, everyone. We'll get started. Again, my name is Tricia Dinkel. I'm the Northeast Program Manager with the Cleantech Open in the Northeast region. And welcoming everyone today to the overview of our illustrious mentor program, which is a key component of the Cleantech Open Accelerator. So first, just as a background as to what is the Cleantech Open and where do we come from and what do we focus on. So the Cleantech Open is the world's oldest and largest clean technology accelerator. We're a nonprofit organization and it is a national organization. Under that national umbrella, there are 6 active regions. We represent the Northeast region, myself and Beth Zonas, our regional director. The Northeast region is comprised of all of the New England states, so Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut, as well as the tri-state area. Tri-state area, which includes New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. In the Northeast alone, since the inception of the program in 2005, we've had just about 390 Northeast startups graduate from the Accelerator program. Over 1,000 startups have gone through the Cleantech Open Accelerator nationally. It is an annual accelerator program. It runs annually from May to September. That means that the opportunity to participate in the accelerator is offered once a year. This year, and as in years past, the application deadline, the final application deadline is May 1st. So we're coming up within a few weeks of that application deadline and looking forward to solidifying our 2019 cohort. Typically, our cohorts comprise of about 30 to 50 startups or teams. And the Northeast region has, over consecutive years, had the largest cohort out of all of the various regions, although the West region is up and coming and approaching us fast in terms of competing with the largest cohort. We select the companies based off of the criteria established on both the level of funding, the direction of the startup, so that it's clean tech focus, all of which I'll speak to a bit later, so you can have a sense of what type of clean tech startups we work with and what stage they're at. The program itself, it is a rigorous program. It's comprised of training elements, which consist of business clinics. Those are offered through June to August. They're offered in both Boston and New York as a way of making sure that we provide the programming to be accessible for the Northeast region. So if you're located where Boston is more accessible, you would attend as a participant the business clinics in Boston. And if you are a participant where New York City is more accessible, you would attend the New York City business clinics. The program also consists of the mentoring component, which is what we're speaking of today. And we'll go into far more detail about what the role of the mentor is and how mentors work with the startups. It also provides access to capital. So this is done through the networking, pitch panels, and investor connect opportunities that are run throughout and at the conclusion of the program itself. Showcasing, that's a key component in which the startups have the opportunity to showcase on both a regional and national level. And then throughout the accelerator program itself, there are many opportunities to strengthen and to create both your presentation and your showcasing materials in order to be prepared for both the regional competition as well as the national competition. The accelerator program, as I mentioned, does have the curriculum component throughout the June to August time period. And then in September, the top 8 teams will compete against one another for the regional title to claim as the Northeast finalist. Those 4 finalists from the Northeast will all receive a cash prize, as well as the opportunity to pitch again at the national forum, which is held this year in November, with the dates to be announced. And that's typically held in a different location each year. This year, the Northeast regional finals will be held September 25th and 26th in New York City, and that alternates year after year between New York City and Boston for the Northeast regional finals. The Academy kicks off the Accelerator program, and that is in June 10th and June 11th, and that also alternates between Boston and New York. So this year, the Academy will be held in Boston. We define clean tech. This is a common question that we get because clean tech doesn't necessarily have a narrow definition. We've helped define it by creating 8 different sectors that we believe comprise clean tech. So the way that we evaluate how startups are aligned with the clean tech industry is through these 8 sectors. Oftentimes, more often than not, teams will have overlap between the sectors and not necessarily just be confined or identified with one of the sectors that are outlined here. But this is just a way for us to put some structure around how we define and interpret clean tech, as well as to build out our network of industry and professionals that are experts in these areas. So the mentoring program, as discussed, it is a key component of our Accelerator program. The objectives of the mentors are really to work with the teams, and they are developing and they are strengthening each participant within that team as entrepreneurs and innovators. They foster the business development within the team, as well as they maximize the team's chance of raising capital and achieving sustainable commercial success and launching into market. The high-level responsibilities of a mentor: you are, as a mentor, asked to communicate with the teams weekly, at a minimum bi-weekly. This is so you can continue to keep the lines of communication open, provide feedback, and address any of the weekly challenges that the teams are coming into, or celebrate the successes. Really building up that relationship so teams know who you are, what you can offer, as well as building up a rapport and a solid relationship between the mentor and the team themselves. Making sure that the team is aware of the expectations of the programs and the judging guidelines is another essential responsibility of the mentors. So this is all communicated to the mentors, and mentors are trained through and have a referenceable handbook, as well as there will be a formal mentor training once you have been accepted into the program and matched with a team. We'll get into the timeline of how the mentor matching process works in just a bit. Continuing on with the mentor responsibilities, providing feedback and guidance throughout the completion of the deliverables and the curriculum. This is essential because we have designed the curriculum and the deliverables to be applicable to each startup. So they're really not meant to just kind of provide a check in a box, but to be something that the team can use to launch their business, to gain traction, to make themselves visible in front of key stakeholders or investors. So your feedback and guidance as a mentor is essential because you'll be drawing on both your knowledge of the team's focus, as well as your general business knowledge, or if you're a specialist mentor, you'll be providing specific focus or perspective on a certain topic or sector. Finally, the mentors are working with the teams to prepare them for pitching at the various levels of the competition. So as mentioned, there is both a regional as well as the opportunity to pitch nationally. The demographics of the audience will always be changing, both throughout the program as well as, in the real market. So having and working with the teams to make sure their presentation is dynamic, thorough, and well crafted is essential, and should be continued throughout the program as a way of making sure that again, the teams are prepared on all levels to pitch and are comfortable. A lot of times we also suggest working with multiple team members on the pitching team. We find that teams typically have a point person for pitching, but the mentors are really a good support for making sure that the other team members are comfortable in pitching should they be called up, or should there be an opportunity where they have to give an informal presentation. Just being familiar and having the same level of feedback that the main presenter or pitcher had throughout the program is also important, and falls both with the team as well as through the support of the mentor. We have certain levels or certain roles that we defined for the mentors. This is a way of diversifying the amount of support that each team gets through the mentor role, as well as helping us match where the mentor's expertise aligns with the needs of the team itself. We have first the generalist mentors. These are defined as both a lead and secondary. Each team will have ideally both a lead generalist mentor as well as a secondary generalist mentor. Lead mentors are and have been historically returning mentors. This is because they're familiar with both the program as well as the generalist mentor, perhaps even have done the lead generalist mentor role in prior years. That way they're able to provide the support and leadership that's needed, while some of the newer mentors can focus on either their area of expertise or learning about the program and working with the teams through the guidance as well of the lead generalist mentor. So their role is really twofold. The first focus is obviously providing the support and guidance to the team, but also the lead generalist mentor will be working with the other mentors to make sure that they are feeling comfortable in their roles and that they're giving to the teams and meeting the expectations through their mentoring role. Like the other mentor roles, providing general support and feedback across all areas of business, really listening to the team and responding to what the needs are. This is primarily what the generalist mentor role will focus on. Again, if you think of it as they will have a high level focus on both the team as well as the communicating and preparing for the requirements of the program and the competition. The specialist expert mentors, those may be assigned to a team directly, so they'll be one of the 4 mentors that are matched with a team, or they could be part of a pool of specialists. So that is something that we have created, and we refer to it as request an expert program. So this is people who have either an industry expertise or professional experience in a niche market or industry, and they are called upon and not necessarily work just with one team, but because of their niche expertise that might be rare to find and not something that we can recreate for multiple teams, they'll be available to all teams to be able to set up times to communicate with them. And that is put on both the teams as well as the mentors in order to arrange those communications. But the initial outreach will be on the teams to request the expert, and you'll be notified after the matching process about what your role will be. And this is, of course, taking into account what your expertise is that you're bringing to the table, the needs of the teams, as well as what you've expressed you're interested in doing in terms of your contributions as a mentor. The sustainability mentor role has a focus specifically, as said in the name, on operational sustainability and product solution sustainability. So this includes life cycle, sourcing, transportation, packaging, sustainability certifications, and there is a sustainability mentor that will be directly assigned to each team. Some sustainability mentors may be working with more than one team, and again, this is based off of our mentor pool as well as the demographic of our 2019 cohort. So what we do through the matching process is really account for our numbers and making sure that each team has a representative sustainability mentors that also could be working with another team, but that mentor is responsible for allocating time to work with both teams to provide a sustainability feedback, guidance, and knowledge that they have as a sustainability mentor or professional. There are other roles. These are not as defined and they're not as common, but in the case where either you were not directly matched with a team to fulfill one of the roles of either a generalist, a specialist, or a sustainability mentor, there are other opportunities for you to either work with the teams routinely or through certain events, particularly as an example through our academy, our 2-day academy, where there are a lot of workshops and panels and it does provide a lot of opportunity for people to volunteer their time and expertise in order to work directly with teams in small groups or throughout one of the panels in order to leverage their knowledge or their industry background. The time commitment for all of the roles, we approximated about 1 to 3 hours. Now, again, this is meant to be something that's cohesive with your schedule, but it also should be a way for you to assess whether or not you're able to commit to the weekly communications, as well as the ongoing feedback and general rapport with the teams you'll be working with, team or teams. This is just so the expectations are set at the beginning about what the mentors, and again, this time can fluctuate. It can certainly be greater than 3 hours, or there's going to be some weeks where the time commitment isn't as heavy, particularly in the times when there isn't as much preparation for deliverables or for the next competition. So there could be downtime in which the teams are focused and you're not necessarily in as much communication. But overall, you should be prepared to commit about 1 to 3 hours per week. The mentor matching, as I discussed, this is the piece of the program where we internally take all of the mentor applicants that have been approved through our vetting process, and we look at the teams that have been accepted into the program for the 2019 cohort, and we match 2 generalist mentors, a sustainability mentor and a specialist mentor, with the teams based off of the expertise, the needs, as well as the industry knowledge that's offered on both areas, particularly with the mentor themselves. Mentors are matched following the mentor mixers, so highlighting just the order of how the matching process is initiated and concluded. So the mentor mixers, these are essential, not necessarily mandatory, but extremely important events. If you are accepted into the mentor program and interested in mentoring a team, attending either the May 21st Mentor Mixer in New York City or the May 23rd Mentor Mixer that's being held in Boston, depending on which location is more accessible to you. This is a time for you to actually meet the startups, formatted similar to, it's a bit old school now, but speed dating, where you'll have brief conversations with the startups, as well as the opportunity to see all the startups pitch in the most kind of raw, put on the spot way, so you can get a sense of the team and the focus of the startup itself, as well as the people within the team. So you can put together relationships that you believe would be of interest for you to pursue as a mentor and working with the team. Following the mentor mixers, and the information that you receive. So as a mentor, you'll also receive a description of each of the teams as a background, so you can know the demographic and information about each team that was accepted in the 2019 cohort. And then we send out a survey to both the mentors and the startups following the mentor mixers to gain more insight on their top choices based off of who they met and where they found a certain rhythm with the potential startups, as well as the startups will provide their insights and their preferences on mentors that they met at the mentor mixers. We consider both the responses on the survey, as well as where the expertise needs lie for the teams, as well as the offerings from the mentors, in order to match the mentors with the startups. The role of the mentor is also key. So having someone making sure that we have the generalist and the lead generalist assigned to each team is important, and has to be accounted for when we're matching, as well as the same goes with the sustainability mentors and the specialist mentors. So those will be also accounted for in terms of their background and what the team requires, needs, or has requested. The Cleantech Open timeline, this is meant to give an overview of the program, specifically on what you can expect as a mentor should you choose to join our 2019 mentoring program. So as of May 1st, to walk through this on a high level, as of May 1st, the application period has closed for 2019. By May 18th, the 2019 cohort will be announced, and information on the teams, as I previously mentioned, will be circulated to all approved available mentors in advance of the May 21st and May 23rd mentor mixers. Again, those will be held May 21st in New York City, and then a mentor mixer will be held May 23rd in Boston. In early June, the mentors will be matched with the team. So this is following the survey as well as the initial meeting at the mentor mixers. We sit down internally and we go through a detailed and rigorous matching process where we come out with each team and their matched mentors and notify both the mentors and the teams of these matchings. Of course, there can always be a little bit of shuffle, but the timeline in early June keeps in line in advance with the June 10th and 11th Academy, which again will be held in Boston and is required for all startups to attend. As a mentor, you are not required to attend the Academy, although it is highly encouraged. This is a good time to meet specifically with your team, as well as to meet the other teams and other mentors, their stakeholders, and general contacts and Cleantech Open staff. The Academy is 2 days. It will be held at the Federal Reserve in Boston, and you'll receive additional information about registering for the Academy shortly after being matched with your team, if not a little bit further in late May, early June. June through mid-August is when we hold our business clinics. That's when we cover topics such as customer discovery, marketing, financing, and of course, sustainability. We also will be holding on the national level webinars for teams and mentors to participate in. There will be workshops usually associated with the business clinics, but the majority of the programming and curriculum falls in that June to mid-August timeline. From early to mid-August is the final program deliverables are due. So from all of the business clinics, there's curriculum deliverables, and each has their own associated deadline, with the final deadline to be in early to mid-August. August from September, that's when we move more into the showcasing aspect of the program. So this is when teams are preparing and participating in the regional finals. Again, that will be held in New York City this year on September 25th to September 26th. And then the top 4 teams, in addition to receiving a cash prize for being a Northeast regional finalist, they will have the opportunity to pitch in November, to be determined in the week of November 13th through 18th at the Global Forum, which is also our national competitions where the top teams from each of the 6 regions will compete for the national title. This year, actually, as a need to express, the finalist, the national finalist, was from the Northeast, so we're very proud to tout that. They were Radical Plastics and did a phenomenal job and had remarkable relationships with their mentors. Another testament to how important that role is in helping the team throughout not just the program, but in launching them to market and to really achieving their short-term and long-term goals. So just as a reiterating for the key dates, wanted to put these in front of you in addition to the timeline. These are the main events that mentors will be requested in attendance. Again, for the Academy and the business clinics, as a mentor, you will not necessarily be required to attend. However, whether it's the topic that interests you or you've offered to speak, or to help out at any of the business clinics or the Academy itself, we do encourage you to take advantage of the programming that aligns with your interest or that you feel would be helpful for you to be present for your team. Both the regional and the national or as we refer to it as the Global Forum, those are also noted and are strongly encouraged, if not essentially required for mentors to participate, particularly in the regional finals. And this is both for feedback, but also as support for their teams who are both participating as well as showcasing. So in terms of the mentor program, this was a high-level view of what to expect, what the role of the mentors are. We wanted to give an opportunity. Also on the line, we have Dave Buzzio, who is our mentor committee co-chair. So we wanted to make sure that you all had the opportunity to ask any questions. Again, you can type them right into the right-hand side navigation bar. It pops out with the little orange arrow. You can type your question, send it, and we're happy to respond to it. Some of the common questions we get are around the mentor matching process. I know we went into detail throughout this presentation on that, but I'm also happy at the conclusion of this webinar if you think of any questions that you'd like to ask either myself or Dave, who not only, I should mention, is the co-chair of the mentor committee, so he helps guide and structure the mentor program each year. He's also mentored himself, so he can speak about his experience as a mentor. So our first question is, for planning purposes, can you tell us more about the mentor mixer? So yes, the mentor mixers are held in the evening. They're about 3 hours. They're structured so mentors have the opportunity to hear a pitch from each of the accepted startups. So there will be time that's allocated just for the pitching. The startups will get up in front of everyone, give their pitch, and then we'll move into a speed dating format where mentors will sit down with the teams and have the opportunity to have a brief conversation and then move on to another team. So everyone, in theory, has the opportunity to speak with, at the very least, the teams that they're most interested in working with or the most relevant based off of expertise and the needs of the team. Again, it is an evening event, and it will run from 5:30 to 8:30 in Boston and 6 to 9 in New York City.
Yes, hi, Tricia. I'd like to add to that if I can. This is Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hi there. Just make sure people can hear me. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
One of the things that's helpful in the past we've done, I assume we're going to do it this year, we provide the mentors a company summary before the event, maybe a day or two before. So you'll have kind of a menu of who's going to be there. Not all the teams or companies are going to be either in Boston or New York. So this gives you the full list. So if you want to mentor a company in upstate New York, you can reach out to them at the same time. I just wanted to add that, Tricia.
No, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Dave. And
Sure.
There is another question about where the mentor matching events will be located. So I'm interpreting this question because the mentor matching process, that's an internal process that mentors won't be a part of. But I believe what she's getting at is if the mentor mixers, if we have determined location. Yes. So the mentor mixers, we have determined location for Boston. They will be held at Foley Hoag, and that's located in the Seaport area in Boston. And the mentor mixer in New York City will be located at the Canadian Consul of New York, which is located in Midtown. And again, wanted to remind everyone that while this is meant to give a general overview of the mentors, for any specific questions, both now and throughout the process, feel free to reach out to myself or to Dave with any of those questions or for more information about how you can sign up or apply to be a mentor. We didn't go into what that process is like, but I'm happy to either follow up with that individually if you have any questions or go through that if anyone has any questions that they'd like to be shared with the general audience. One thing I do want to note too is I can't reiterate or emphasize this enough is how essential mentors are to the Cleantech Open Accelerator program, both through the expertise that is lended as well as the support and guidance. These relationships often and commonly are more than just a mentor relationship throughout the accelerator. Now, that isn't to say it requires you to build out these deep long-term relationships, but because of the nature of our matching process and because of the nature of our demographic of volunteers who choose to be mentors, we really have seen these relationships be a staple in both the teams as well as the mentors' lives, and both professionally and personally. That support is invaluable to the teams. And then the experience of helping really build and guide early or even tenured entrepreneurs is something that lasts far longer than the accelerator program, but really is a testament to how strong our network is and continues to grow as we engage these people who are highly vested not only in launching clean technologies into our markets, but in growing entrepreneurs and innovators who are focused and recognize some of the large scale problems that we face and want to resolve through these clean tech solutions. So the specificity of our program through clean tech really tends to be reflected in the strength and the depth of our network that we build through the mentoring program. So if we don't have any other questions, and I just want to make sure I'm giving enough time for anyone else to get their questions in, again, feel free to reach out to myself or Dave Buzzio with any questions or with more information about how to apply for a mentor. If you have already applied and been approved as a mentor, accepted into the mentor program, you will be hearing from us as with a reminder and invitation to the mentor mixers, which again, I would suggest saving that date on your calendar either way, depending on where you're at in the process, but really focusing on trying to make those events as a starting point. So you'll be hearing from us with those invitations to the mentor mixer, because if it wasn't clear before, I just want to reiterate, they are invite only. So it isn't, some of our events are open to the general public, this one is not, and that is because it is highly focused on making sure that our mentor participants and our startups have the time to engage with one another beyond just a general networking and mingling scenario. So thank you all so much for taking the time to learn more about the mentoring program. We look forward to working with many of you who are on the call who will be participating in our mentor program, as well as we look forward to getting to know some of you who are in the process of applying or are new to the mentor program. So we cannot thank you enough for joining our growing mentor family and our clean tech community. And this is positioned to be one of our largest and strongest years in 2019. So it's something to gain excitement about, and May 1st is around the corner in which we'll be concluding our applications. So it is like Christmas in May for us to review those applications and to start working with our illustrious mentor participants. So thank you all, and wishing you all the best afternoon. I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Tricia. That was very good.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye now.